On Truth Social, Donald Trump reposted someone else's post that said that Trump was considering using military strength to carry out the mass deportations, military assets, rather. Trump reposted this and said, true. Now, since he's done that, the left has freaked out and they've started calling Trump a dictator over this. So in the description, there's a link to an article by the Chicago Sun-Times, which is a pretty good representation of the way that the left has responded to this. Now, there's two particular sections of this that I want to point out. So one, they say Trump is looking to strike terror in the hearts of undocumented immigrants, as they say. What they mean, let's call it what it is. It's illegal aliens. But yes, that's exactly what he's doing. That's exactly what he's doing. If they leave, we don't got to spend the resources to deport them now, do we? They ought to leave. They're not welcome. And particularly, Chicago, it's amazing to me that Chicago is the place where this comes out of, because the south side of Chicago is being overrun by Venezuelan gangs. Go look at the videos from the gang members there. The BDs and the GDs, they're out there feuding with Venezuelan gangs. Yes, we do want to strike fear in their hearts. Get out. You're not welcome. Now, another part of this article, they say everyone should be concerned because Trump is planning to use military might to carry out civilian law enforcement. Newsflash, this is not civilian law enforcement. It is the job of the federal government, as outlined in the founding documents of this country, to protect the border. This falls into that category. Illegal migrants are the responsibility of the federal government. Now, they even go on to say Trump might use active duty military or even the National Guard. What do you mean? Shouldn't it be the other way around? You might use the National Guard because that's kind of what you deploy National Guard for domestic issues, or even the active duty military. I mean, maybe that's just me picking on the semantics, but whoever wrote this article, I think that you're wrong. I think you should have switched that around. But yeah, use the resources that we've got. Why would we be opposed to the Insurrection Act being invoked? Why would we be opposed to using the National Guard to deport illegal immigrants? I have no idea why that's a problem to you. I used to live in Colorado, and in Colorado Springs in particular, where I lived, when they legalized weed, then a whole bunch of unskilled people showed up, and that city began to deteriorate. It's begun to reach levels that you can't even really imagine in some of those cities with the number of illegal migrants that are coming in now. Looking at the number of low-skilled and no-skilled workers, it's actually making things very difficult for Americans. For example, my brother and I flipped houses, and we had the requisite licensure. In fact, he had them. I worked for him. He had his business registered. He had his license to do electrical work. He had his license to do everything else that he was doing, to flip the houses, to sell the real estate, all of that sort of thing. He had all of that. We were constantly undercut by illegal immigrants who would come in with 27 people and do the job in half the time, but at half the quality without the prerequisite licensures. That is just like one small example of where this is hurting people. But this is hurting people. This is hurting American businesses. Now, in Colorado specifically, you think about the Tren de Aragua thing. And I know, just a handful of apartment complexes in Aurora, Colorado, right, that are overrun by these gangs. Just a handful. That's okay, right? And San Antonio as well, by the way. I'm sure that the people that live in those apartment complexes are okay with it because it's just a handful, right? No, mass deportations are a good thing in this instance. We need to get rid of many of these illegal immigrants, and using the National Guard doesn't seem like an out-of-line approach to me. That's about all.